Hi there folks, Scott here for yet another Daily December, and this may seem like another attempt to stop being bothered setting up the camera, and you'd be right, but let's be honest folks, when you're talking about Doom, this perspective here, this one you're seeing right now, is the only one that matters. I mean sure, yeah, there were FPS games before Doom, but there were none like Doom, and I know it gets said a lot, but it bears repeating. Doom defined what a first-person shooter is even today. So let's go back to how I got Doom. I got the shareware version, like many people. I distinctly remember picking it up from Electronics Boutique in Stirling, I believe. Not my usual haunt, but you know, my parents like to take me and my brother around about lots and lots of castles in Scotland, because you know, everyone's got one in Scotland, so you can pretty much fill up a whole childhood taking tours of castles. But we're not here to talk about castles, we're here to talk about Doom. Anticipation for Doom was at fever pitch. At the time, it was the game that everybody was talking about. We didn't have Quake at the time, we didn't have Duke 3D at the time. The most advanced graphical game we had was Doom, and in a lot of ways Doom is still perfect. Yeah, it doesn't have regenerating health, yes the graphics are old, but it plays so goddamn well. So yeah, every magazine I bought talking about Doom, gave you Doom wads that you could, you know, use, I guess is the term. You didn't really download stuff as much as you do now, did you? No, you just got them off a disc, chucked them on your computer, played some Doom levels. WADs are what levels were. It stood for Where's All the Data. But that's by the by. So, finally, I got my hands on the shareware copy of Doom, right? And my old PC wouldn't run it. We thought we had the minimum specs, but having 4 megs, not gigs, 4 megs of RAM wasn't really enough. I guess it meant 4 megs worth of RAM that's free to use. So, I mean, we tried everything. We ran MemMaker a dozen different ways, but no, we couldn't get it. You might have heard a meowing in the background. That's Socks. I think Socks wants attention, so I'm going to be cuddling Socks as I tell you about Doom, won't I, baby? Good cat. So, yeah, this tantalising game, this brilliant game, couldn't play it. Play a lot of Wolfenstein 3D, and yes, I thoroughly enjoyed it, but for months couldn't play Doom. I could install it and it wouldn't work. I could go through the readme file, which is the equivalent of a manual, which went into excruciating detail about the plot, about the descriptions of each enemy you'd face, which really didn't make things better, it just made things worse. Eventually, we managed to convince the parents that 8 megs of RAM was the way to go. I'm sitting here with a computer that has 8 gigs of RAM. But back then 8 megabytes was enough, and yeah, sure enough, Doom ran. And it ran pretty well, I have to say. 486SX, yeah alright, it's not the DX, but you know what? It was enough to run Doom beautifully, and finally I had it. I had this perspective you're looking at right now. Well, not exactly, this is the Xbox Live version, but it's practically the same. And you know, jumping from Wolfenstein to this was like night and day. You might laugh now, but it was the first time a 3D environment had felt like a real place. You know, walls were at angles now, there were different floor levels, there was different lighting, which, again, it sounds primitive, but back then, you have no idea what kind of impact that made. In a way, Doom's always kind of been a benchmark for graphical prowess. Remember when Doom 3 came out? Sure, people laugh at it now, but back then, those graphics were amazing. Nobody had seen lighting like it. Nobody had seen textures like it. No one had seen detailed models like it. And again, look at Doom 4 coming out. It looks amazing. It looks really, really good. Even though John Carmack isn't there anymore. You know, the guy designing the engines, the guy pushing the boundaries of what computer graphics and gaming could achieve. He might not be there anymore. But Doom 4 is looking pretty shiny. And I'll admit, I can't wait. So there. Doom was one of the defining games of my childhood. And rather than just have me talking trying to be funny, let's just show you Doom in its glory. Looking great, running great, playing like a motherfucker. So yeah, did you have Doom? Do you love Doom still? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, like, share, subscribe, fuck off, and Merry Christmas!